Ancient Greece was a civilization of great philosophers, warriors, and artists. But it was also a land of peculiar laws and customs that shaped the daily lives of its people. Some of these traditions seem odd by modern standards, yet they played crucial roles in maintaining order, discipline, and cultural identity. Let's journey back in time and explore some of the most unusual laws and customs that governed the lives of the ancient Greeks. Spartans and the mandatory beard law. In the rugged city-state of Sparta, masculinity and warrior ethos were paramount. Among the many societal norms that reinforced this ideal was the expectation for men to grow and maintain a beard. Unlike in other Greek states, where grooming choices were largely personal, in Sparta, a man's facial hair was more than just a style preference. It was a symbol of maturity, wisdom, and warrior status. Young Spartan males, known as boys in the Agoge, the rigorous state-run education system, kept their hair short until they reached puberty. Once they became men, they were expected to let their hair grow long and cultivate their beards. Shaving one's beard was often linked to acts of mourning or even as a form of humiliation. Plutarch records that Spartan warriors who displayed cowardice in battle were sometimes punished by having parts, even all of their beards shaved, marking them as disgraced individuals. However, some accounts suggest an exception to this rule. Certain men were encouraged to shave only their mustaches while keeping their beards intact. The reason behind this remains unclear, but it may have been related to distinguishing certain ranks or statuses within Spartan society. Beyond mere grooming, hair and beards played an essential role in Spartan battle rituals. Before combat, particularly before the legendary Battle of Thermopylae, warriors meticulously comb and dress their long hair, a practice that baffled the Persian spy who mistook it for vanity rather than an active preparation for an honorable death. Solon's law on idle in the 6th century BC. Athens. While Sparta prided itself on military discipline, Athens had a different concern: productivity. Solon, one of Athens' most revered lawgivers, introduced a law that made idleness illegal. In his view, every male citizen had to contribute to society in some meaningful way. Any Athenian man who could not prove how he earned his living faced legal consequences, which could include fines, the loss of citizenship rights, or even exile. This law was designed to prevent poverty and crime, stemming from the belief that idleness led to corruption and disorder. Athens, unlike Sparta, relied on a self-sufficient citizenry rather than a state-supported military elite. Solon's regulation may have also been a strategic move to curb aristocratic laziness, as many noble families preferred to live off inherited wealth rather than engage in any form of labor. Gymnos nudity culture in athletics. In the realm of athletics, ancient Greeks had an unusual but deeply symbolic practice: competing nude. This tradition, known as gymnos, meaning naked in Greek, was a hallmark of Greek sports, and was especially prominent in the Olympic Games and other pan-Hellenic competitions. The origins of athletic nudity are believed to trace back to Sparta, where warriors trained and competed without clothing as a demonstration of physical excellence and fearlessness. Over time, this custom spread throughout Greece, becoming a defining feature of Greek athleticism. Far from being seen as inappropriate, nudity in sports was regarded as a tribute to the gods and a celebration of the human form. Many athletic competitions were held during religious festivals, and competing in the nude was considered an offering to deities like Zeus. Victorious athletes were often honored with nude statues erected in temples, symbolizing their achievements and divine favor. The influence of this tradition extended beyond competition. The gymnasium, derived from the word gymnos, was not only a place for physical training but also a center for intellectual discourse. Adult male citizens gathered there to train, socialize, and engage in philosophical discussions, all in the nude, reflecting the Greek ideal of a sound mind in a sound body. Although male nudity was celebrated, female participation in athletics varied by city-state. Spartan women, for example, were encouraged to train and, in some cases, may have competed naked to promote physical strength. However, in most Greek states, women were excluded from athletic events altogether, either as competitors or spectators. Public indecency laws. The paradox of nudity. Despite their open embrace of nudity in athletics, the Greeks maintained strict laws against inappropriate public behavior. Athens, in particular, had stringent rules regarding public drunkenness, disorderly conduct, and excessive displays of mourning. While competing nude was a mark of honor, behaving indecently in public was a serious offense. Public drunkenness, for example, was considered disgraceful and could result in penalties such as fines or even artemia, loss of citizenship rights. Similarly, excessive mourning was discouraged, as loud wailing, chest beating, or other dramatic expressions of grief were seen as disruptive to social order. Women, who were believed to be more prone to emotional outbursts, were especially subject to these restrictions. To prevent ostentatious displays of sorrow, Solon even introduced laws mandating that funeral processions take place before sunrise and that only close relatives could participate. Ostracism. Exile by popular vote. One of the most fascinating Athenian political practices was ostracism, a form of temporary exile imposed by public vote. Each year, Athenians gathered to decide whether a vote for ostracism should take place. If approved, 2 months later, citizens would inscribe the name of the individual they wished to exile on pieces of broken pottery called a straka. If a quorum of 6,000 votes was reached, the individual with the most votes was exiled for 10 years. However, their property remained untouched, and they could return without stigma once their exile was over. While originally designed to prevent tyranny, ostracism often became a tool for political maneuvering, allowing rivals to eliminate their opponents without bloodshed. Spartan silence at mealtime. Spartans practiced extreme discipline in all aspects of life, including their meals. Unlike other Greeks who dined with family, Spartan men were required to eat in Syssitia military mess halls, reinforcing camaraderie and equality. Silence during meals was strictly observed, reflecting the Spartan values of self-restraint and focus. Idle chatter was seen as a sign of weakness, while measured speech was considered a mark of strength and wisdom. Wine must be diluted. For the Greeks, drinking undiluted wine was a sign of barbarism. It was customary to mix wine with water, usually at a ratio of 1:3, as a mark of moderation and self-control. Drinking pure wine was associated with excessive indulgence, something the Greeks looked down upon, particularly in contrast to their Persian and Thracian neighbors, whom they consider uncivilized. Greek playwright Eubolus summed up their philosophy on drinking. 3 bowls only do I mix for the temperate, 1 for health, the second for love and pleasure, the third for sleep. The fourth is no longer ours, it belongs to hubris. From beard laws to political exile, the customs of ancient Greece were as fascinating as they were unusual. Stay tuned for part 2, where we uncover even more bizarre and intriguing aspects of Greek life.